if this ever comes out, he's finished, and he knows it.
Right now, Bronny James is averaging 0.3 points, 0.3 assists, and 0.4 rebounds.
Stephen A. wasn't playing around. He was gearing up to expose the real reason LeBron has an issue with him. And this situation runs way deeper than any courtside moment involving Bronny. Fans thought the tension was just about that brief standoff at the game, but that was nothing more than a surface-level distraction. The rumor mill has been spinning for years, whispering about behind-the-scenes connections, old alliances, and alleged industry ties that people claim link back to LeBron and Diddy.
But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players.
The type of stuff insiders say isn't meant for the public eye. This tension didn't pop up overnight. It actually started back in 2018, when Stephen A. questioned LeBron's leadership during his time with the Cavaliers, and that alone rubbed some people the wrong way. But that was only the warm-up. The real spark came later when Stephen A. brought Bronny into the conversation on First Take.
You got a goddamn view, damn it!
And treated him like any other rising talent being evaluated. He didn't sugarcoat anything. He compared Bronny to other young prospects and said he was solid, but not on the same level as names like DJ Wagner or Justin Edwards. Stephen A. wasn't trying to disrespect anybody. That was just him doing what he always does, being direct, analytical, and fearless. But here's the problem. When you critique someone with the James last name, even a mild comment hits with the force of a spotlight. Bronny didn't enter the league like a quiet newcomer hoping to surprise people. He walked in carrying a legacy that follows him everywhere.
I am not blaming LeBron James one bit. He has a right to be a free agent. He has a right to go where he wants to go, do what he wants to do, etc., etc. And he is not at fault. He's to be applauded for exercising the business savvy that he has exercised.
Every move he makes gets analyzed, tracked, and stretched across headlines. And fans claim that pressure amplifies everything. So when Stephen A. casually threw him into comparisons with other young players who've never dealt with that same attention, LeBron reportedly took it as a personal strike. And LeBron didn't hide how he felt for even a second. That protective energy kicked in instantly. He jumped straight into the conversation and made it clear he wasn't letting anything slide when it came to his family. He made that point loud and clear with a tone fans recognized instantly. You can say whatever you want about me, but when it comes to my family, it's different. And when he hit the Pat McAfee show, he doubled down.
Cleveland's defense looks impressive. LeBron James looks otherworldly, and collectively, offensively, they seem to be coming together more and more.
Sending a message that left no room for confusion. That reaction didn't just trend, it exploded across the internet. Social media went into full-on meltdown mode and the debate got messy fast. One side rushed to defend LeBron, saying things like, "Bronny's only 19, let him breathe," and insisting people should stop breaking down every move he makes on national TV. The other side backed Stephen A., arguing that if you want the NBA dream, the spotlight is part of the deal, especially when your father is one of the biggest names the sport has ever seen. And honestly, I lean toward that second group too, because pressure comes with the territory. But what made everything so intense was how public the clash was. This wasn't a quiet disagreement behind closed doors. This turned into LeBron versus Stephen A. in front of millions, live and unfiltered. The thing is, LeBron has always been locked in when it comes to Bronny. He's been at his games for years, backing him like a personal security detail. He's pushed back on recruiting rumors, dismissed the idea that Bronny's hype only exists because of the family name, and made it clear that Bronny is carving out his own journey.
But there is no question the biggest culprit in all of this is LeBron James.
Protecting his son isn't some casual father moment for LeBron. It's a major part of how he presents himself to the world. So when Stephen A. even lightly touched that topic, LeBron reacted immediately because it felt bigger than just a sports debate. It felt like someone poked at the image and legacy he's been building for years, and doing it on live TV only heightened the impact. But here's where things heat up. That whole dad versus analyst storyline. People online say that's just the surface. According to insider chatter, the real tension between LeBron and Stephen A goes way deeper than a debate about Bronny's development. And this is where things get spicy, because if Bronny was just the spark, what's the actual fire? This is the part fans claim LeBron would prefer nobody digs into. Stephen A isn't just an ESPN personality reading stats off a teleprompter. He's been in media circles for decades.
LeBron doesn't hate me because I critique his son. He hates me because I know things he prays never come out, especially when it comes to him and Diddy.
He's got connections, friendships, and backstage access stretching far beyond sports. And for years, he's been seen at the same high-profile gatherings as Diddy, events where sports stars, rappers, executives, and Hollywood elites all mix under the same roof. We're talking NBA All-Star Weekend after parties that sometimes get louder than the games themselves, private music industry dinners in New York where the guest list is stacked with power players, celebrity charity events where the lines between sports, entertainment, and business blend into one giant web of influence. Stephen A moves through those elite circles effortlessly. He hears things, sees things, and stays connected in ways most people never will. And when it comes to Diddy, there's always chatter floating around. But here's the issue. Lately, Diddy's name hasn't just been trending. It's been erupting every time it hits the news. These aren't small mentions either. We're talking high-profile lawsuits, federal investigations, and allegations that make even top celebrities feel uneasy when the topic comes up. And the way the industry works is brutal. Whether you're involved or not doesn't even matter.
Remember this?
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
If your name gets whispered in the same conversation as someone facing controversy, it spreads instantly. That's why every A-lister who's ever stood next to Diddy suddenly looks tense when certain headlines start circulating. The spotlight hits everyone in the proximity. Now, here's where LeBron steps into the picture. Back in 2018, right around the same time the energy between LeBron and Stephen A reportedly started shifting, LeBron and Diddy began appearing closer in public settings. Call it coincidence if you want, but it sure didn't look random. That same year, Diddy sent out those flashy special boxes to his celebrity friends, a mix between luxury gift and power move. And guess who received one? LeBron. Fast forward to 2023, and LeBron went on Instagram publicly hyping one of Diddy's tracks, calling it a stone cold vibe. That's not just a casual repost, that's a public stamp of support. That's LeBron saying, yeah, me and Diddy are cool. Remember this detail because it connects later in a way that matters. Now imagine you're Stephen A, a man who spent 30 years building a reputation as the media insider who knows how the industry breathes. You see all of this happening and your first thought is, interesting.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
For
That's
so
what
many
I felt.
reasons.
I was super ecstatic to win one for Cleveland because of the 52-year drought.
Because if there's one thing Stephen A does better than anyone, it's dropping subtle hints that he knows more than he speaks out loud. He doesn't have to say anything direct. He just positions himself like a man with information, and people fill in the blanks. And the alleged Diddy-LeBron connection? That's exactly the kind of topic Stephen A could gesture at without ever crossing a line. A single raised eyebrow from him is enough to send fans into theory mode. Now flip the perspective. Imagine being LeBron, a man who's built his entire image on being polished, focused, and controversy-free. Every part of his brand relies on staying clear of messy narratives. So the thought of Stephen A, a guy with deep industry ties, floating near a topic that involves his name, even indirectly, would absolutely make him uncomfortable. LeBron has spent years crafting the image of the family man, the community leader, the polished face of the NBA on and off the court. His brand is built on being secure, reliable, and untouched by chaos. So the moment his name even edges near the kind of scandals people associate with Diddy, it becomes a real problem for him, whether he's involved or not. That's the brutal reality of fame. And this is why Stephen A's cryptic lines hit like a thunderbolt. When he dropped that ominous, if this ever comes out, he's finished. And he knows it. People didn't just hear casual commentary, they felt the weight behind it. Instantly, social media started connecting dots, making threads and building theories until everything looked 10 times messier than anyone expected. But here's the key point. Stephen A is not clueless. He knows exactly how powerful his words are. Dropping a line like that wasn't random. It was intentional, almost like a warning shot, a way of saying, I know things. And I know you know I know. It was a reminder that Stephen A holds certain cards, and LeBron can't afford those cards being shown to the world. So when you connect everything, it becomes clear. Bronny may have been the spark, But this deeper tension, that's where the fire really is. Diddy's world has turned into a giant blast radius, and Stephen A. made sure LeBron's name sits close enough for people to start asking questions. But don't think we're done. Not even close. If you think this part is intense, trust me, it gets way more complicated, because this situation isn't anything like the usual noise LeBron deals with. He's used to criticism. He's been in the spotlight for almost 20 years. Skip Bayless has thrown shade at him since day one. Jalen Rose has questioned his decision-making under pressure. Draymond Green has talked trash on the court more times than anyone can count. And Charles Barkley? That man has turned LeBron criticism into a full-time hobby. LeBron has survived all of that and thrived. But Stephen A. brings something totally different to the table. And that's exactly what we're about to break down next. Here's the wild part. LeBron usually shrugs everybody off. Skip takes shots? Whatever. Jalen Rose questions something? Cool. Draymond talks trash? Normal Tuesday. Most criticism barely dents him because it's all public, predictable, and tied to basketball. That's business as usual for the king. But Stephen A? Completely different league. When Bayless questions his basketball IQ or Rose debates his legacy, it's all stuff we've seen on the court. It's visible, it's measurable, it's safe. But when Stephen A speaks, his words hit differently because he hints at things LeBron allegedly wants kept private. Moments that haven't leaked but could if Stephen A ever chose to open that vault. And that's where it gets personal. This isn't about a missed shot, a playoff series, or a bad night. This is about control, power, and information. Stephen A is holding cards LeBron absolutely doesn't want anyone else touching. And the dangerous thing about cards? They can be played at any moment. That uncertainty, the fear of not knowing what Stephen A might reveal or when he could reveal it, is what turns this tension into something real and heavy. This isn't a fun debate. This isn't a hot take on TV. This feels like a warning wrapped inside a conversation, and it's the one thing LeBron cannot ignore or brush off. Which brings us to the big question. Why does Stephen A shake LeBron in ways Skip, Draymond, or even Barkley never could? To understand that, we have to rewind. Because this tension didn't show up overnight. It has a long, layered history. Back in the early 2000s, Stephen A wasn't firing shots at LeBron at all. He was hyping him like crazy. LeBron was the young phenom straight out of high school stepping into national fame, and Stephen A was one of the loudest voices pushing the next big thing narrative. He wasn't criticizing LeBron, he was elevating him. We're talking full praise, glowing predictions, and heavy support. Stephen A was basically part of the media wave that helped turn LeBron into a household name before he even suited up for an NBA game. But then came 2010, and everything shifted. Ah yes, the decision. The moment that had half the sports world melting down. While most of the media was calling it arrogant or manipulative, Stephen A actually defended LeBron. He said LeBron had every right to control his own story and make the choice that fit his future. Imagine that. A major media figure sticking his neck out for LeBron while everyone else was dragging him across the headlines. Fast forward to 2016 when LeBron led Cleveland to that unbelievable comeback over the Warriors. Stephen A didn't hold back. He called it legacy defining, praised LeBron's leadership, and highlighted every clutch moment. He was all in. At that point, the relationship still looked strong. Mutual respect, mutual benefits. And LeBron had one of the most powerful voices in sports media firmly in his corner. But then things flipped, slowly but clearly. Around 2018, the tone started to shift. At first, it was light critiques, small skeptical takes, nothing too sharp. Then Stephen A began questioning LeBron's GM-like moves, calling out certain trades, rotations, and leadership decisions. He even hinted at what he called passive-aggressive moments in how LeBron interacts with teammates or the media. It didn't explode overnight, but if you were paying attention, you could feel the energy changing. And that shift, that was the exact setup for the drama that would come later. You don't go from supportive ally to uncomfortable tension without something simmering underneath. Now remember what I told you earlier. This was also around the same time LeBron and Diddy started appearing closer publicly. Are the pieces clicking for you yet? Because this is where the story stops being LeBron versus Stephen A and starts dipping into the complicated adult world where power, image, and connections collide. And trust me, this part is not small talk. Because whether you like or dislike Diddy, one thing is undeniable. His world is complicated, and people online have been calling it messy for years. And when I say messy, I mean the type of high-profile incidents that lead to non-stop headlines. Here's the thing. Diddy isn't just a music mogul. His name has been tied to some seriously explosive, attention-grabbing situations. Lawsuits, investigations, and allegations that dominate social media every time they surface. The moment those headlines hit, everything around him gets loud, and anyone even loosely connected to him, friends, collaborators, people who've been in photos with him, ends up getting pulled into speculation just because of proximity, which is exactly why LeBron, being linked publicly to Diddy during the same years Stephen A. drifted away from him, raised so many eyebrows among fans. Because now the story isn't just Stephen A. critiquing basketball decisions, it's Stephen A. reacting to the broader world LeBron seemed to be stepping into. And this is where things start getting messy in ways LeBron absolutely didn't want. People online have talked for years about Diddy's private events, those exclusive gatherings that sparked endless rumors about who was there and what really happened behind the scenes. And then came the situation with Cassie Ventura, his former girlfriend and recording artist. She publicly accused Diddy of harmful behavior, manipulation, and coercion over several years. Serious allegations that shook the entire industry. She described incidents of emotional harm, controlling actions, and frightening situations involving private content, and those claims spread everywhere. There was also widely shared footage from 2016 showing Diddy involved in a disturbing physical altercation with her, and that clip shocked the entire internet when it resurfaced. Fast forward to 2025, and reports claim that Diddy faced federal charges connected to allegations of facilitating illegal activities tied to the movement of individuals for exploitative purposes. The potential consequences were massive, with rumors online saying he could face over a decade behind bars if convicted. Now imagine being LeBron in the middle of all this. You show up to one of Diddy's high-profile events, celebrities everywhere, cameras everywhere, whispers everywhere, and suddenly you realize that nothing stays private in those rooms. Even if you did nothing wrong, even if you were just a guest enjoying the night, all it takes is one photo, one angle, or one rumor to drag your name into a storm you never wanted. And Stephen A. Kid, with his decades in media, allegedly knows enough industry backstories to make any celebrity nervous. One subtle comment from him, just one, and suddenly your name gets attached to every speculation, rumor, and headline floating around the situation. That's not criticism, that's leverage. And LeBron knows the difference. But here's where it gets even wilder. While all this behind-the-scenes tension is bubbling up, LeBron is out here publicly signaling closeness to Diddy at the exact same time. Remember this moment? LeBron himself shared that clip online, proudly showing off the exclusive box Diddy sent him. That wasn't subtle. That was LeBron telling the world, yeah, I'm connected. And once you understand the timing, everything feels a lot more complicated. Because this isn't just LeBron James playing basketball or taking pictures at events. This is a man who has treated his public image like a chess match for 20 years. He's always been careful, always intentional, crafting his narrative piece by piece like a mastermind. Think back to the decision in 2010. Millions of people were watching, waiting to see where he would go next. Any other athlete would have posted a simple tweet, maybe held a short press conference at most. But LeBron? He turned it into primetime television, a full-on spectacle. Some people called it outrageous, others called it marketing brilliance, but one thing was clear. LeBron controls his story completely. Every headline, every photo, every Instagram message, every part of the brand we see today. And that's exactly why this new tension with Stephen A. cuts so deep, because Stephen A. is the one person who can disrupt that control without even raising his voice. Fast forward to 2018. LeBron launches the I Promise School in Akron, a public school designed to support kids facing tough circumstances. Was it noble? Absolutely, but was it also strategic? Without question. Every camera shot, every headline, every emotional moment wasn't just philanthropy. It was LeBron shaping a narrative. He wasn't just a superstar anymore. He was positioning himself as a community hero, a leader, a long-term legacy figure. Then there's Uninterrupted, his media company. Think of it as a narrative shield, a place where athletes can tell their stories directly without any media spin or misquotes. And who benefits the most from this level of narrative control? LeBron. Every story about him, every angle, every documentary moment, every social media viral clip, none of it is accidental. It's calculated, intentional, and tightly controlled. Just look at moments like this one. Every tiny detail reinforces the LeBron brand. And it doesn't stop there. LeBron's fixation on controlling the story shows up in the smallest actions too. Back in 2016, he unfollowed all his Cavaliers teammates on Instagram during playoff season. Why? To focus, at least according to him. Then there are those cryptic tweets he loves posting, sending fans and reporters into speculation frenzies for days. This is all part of the method. Every post, every reaction, every subtle gesture is a piece of a much bigger strategy, keeping the LeBron narrative perfectly polished. Now imagine this. Someone as meticulous as LeBron suddenly realizes Stephen A might be holding information he does not want circulating. That's not just tension. That's a nightmare scenario. This isn't simple beef. This is a potential threat to the empire he's built over 2 decades. Because here's the irony. LeBron can control interviews, he can control cameras, he can control his own platforms, but he cannot control the internet. And that's where everything spirals. Fans have already turned this entire situation into a full-on online obsession. Reddit threads picking apart every handshake he's had with Diddy, Twitter jokes connecting him to rumors he never asked for, TikTok edits imagining him at events he never confirmed attending. The fan culture machine has taken over completely. And here's the wild part. The more LeBron stays silent about anything tied to Diddy, the bigger the speculation becomes. The internet sees silence as mystery, and mystery becomes fuel. The story grows, the theories multiply, and suddenly the narrative is no longer in LeBron's hands. The very thing he worked so hard to control is slipping into public chaos. And every day he ignores it, the mess expands even more. This is classic Streisand effect energy. The silence, the polished PR smiles, the vague Instagram captions, it all makes the speculation grow even louder. People love digging into a story they feel they're not supposed to see, and LeBron's carefully controlled image gives them the perfect mystery to chase. Fans are convinced this beef has way more depth than anyone is admitting. That behind the glitz, the events, and the curated social posts, there's a story that could flip everything we thought we knew about the king. But here's the twist. If you think this tension between LeBron and Stephen A is some rare, isolated thing, you're fooling yourself. This is classic Stephen A territory. The man has a pattern. He digs, he questions, he pushes, and he often ends up in friction with the biggest stars in the league. Take Kevin Durant, for example. KD once called Stephen A clown online after not liking how his move to Brooklyn was covered. He felt the narrative twisted his intentions, and he fired back publicly. But that reaction proves the point. Stephen A isn't in this business to stay friendly with anyone. Then there's Kyrie Irving. Kyrie accused Stephen A of acting like a media puppet master, shaping stories behind the scenes and amplifying situations that didn't need amplification. At first it wasn't personal, until it turned personal. Because once Stephen A keeps digging, the tension always grows. And we can't forget Allen Iverson. Early on, AI and Stephen A had respect for each other, but over the years, commentary about AI's career decisions created a divide. The tone changed and the friction grew. And of course, the iconic situation with Kwame Brown? His viral rants against Stephen A became legendary. Kwame felt disrespected by years of commentary and confronted him publicly in a way the whole internet remembers. So maybe this beef with LeBron isn't unusual at all. Maybe it's simply what happens when Stephen A gets too close to a truth someone doesn't want spotlighted. He's not afraid to push buttons, and he's not scared of superstar backlash. He never has been. Now zoom out for a moment and compare this to other NBA feuds that blew up over the years. Take Ray Allen and the Celtics' Big Three. That situation was rooted in egos, roles, and on-court identity. Ray Allen wanted a bigger role and didn't feel valued for what he brought to the table. That clash was about basketball, pride, and respect. But LeBron versus Stephen A. This isn't about rotations, minutes, or play style. This is bigger, messier, deeper, and it hits off the court in a way normal NBA beefs never touch. The Celtics' Big Three wanted dominance. Simple as that. Basketball came first, and the personal grudges came second. Fans still remember the 2012 finals tension, the shaky chemistry, the cryptic tweets, and all the theories floating around. But at the end of the day, that whole situation stayed within the team. It was messy, sure, but it never reached beyond basketball. Then look at the Jimmy Butler and Karl Anthony Towns chaos in Minnesota. That was a full-on locker room eruption. Butler was the alpha demanding accountability, trying to fire the team up, and things hit a breaking point. Trades happened, tempers flared, and everything exploded publicly. But again, that drama was rooted in basketball, leadership, and internal friction. Same with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. That beef felt fresh because it leaked into the headlines so fast. Draymond's fiery personality collided with Poole's rising confidence, and the whole world saw the fallout. Social media ran wild with it, but underneath all the memes and jokes, it was still just a team conflict. Intense, personal, but contained. Even the Kyrie Irving and LeBron tension gets talked about nonstop. Kyrie wanted more control and influence. LeBron had leadership expectations, emotions clashed, and things got complicated. But even then, the foundation of that conflict was basketball. Shared courts, shared goals, shared frustrations. Now, here's where everything changes. Stephen A versus LeBron is nothing like those other beefs. This isn't about teammates. This isn't about rotations, leadership roles, or locker rooms. This is a full-blown collision between celebrity power and media influence. One man holds the microphone, and the other controls an empire. The stakes here aren't points, stats, or championships. They're reputation, narrative, and influence. And if Stephen A truly knows the things he's been hinting at, this becomes a live wire that could spark consequences no NBA feud has ever touched. That's why people are glued to the story. Because the unknown is louder than anything said on air. Fans are watching every interview, every reaction, every cryptic phrase trying to decode what's real and what's bluff. They're wondering if Stephen A will ever push the button and reveal what he allegedly knows, or if he's just keeping LeBron guessing on purpose. That tension, that uncertainty, is what makes this whole situation so explosive. So the real question everyone keeps asking is this: if Stephen A ever decided to spill everything he's hinting at, what would actually happen? Would it change how the world sees LeBron? Would it shift the balance between the king and the media machine? Would it expose something bigger? Or reveal it was all smoke the whole time? So what do you think? Is Stephen A holding real secrets, or is he playing a psychological chess match to keep LeBron on edge? If you want to follow every twist, every subtle hint, and stay locked in as this story unfolds, make sure you like this video, hit subscribe, share it with someone who needs to see it, drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one.